Hi, I've been having such problems with browsers and settings with my mic. For some reason, when I'm using the Microsoft Edge, it crashes on me when I'm using StreamYard. Right in the middle of it's done it 2 or 3 times now. So this is about the fourth time I'm trying to do this video. All right, let's give it a go. See if this is going to have sound and not crash. This is on Barbara McClure, and she went missing in 1978 out of an area near Seattle from a Fandango nightclub. She liked to go disco dancing. She was there to meet up with friends and dance. And one of them happened to be an ex-boyfriend, but they were on friendly enough terms and they liked to dance, so they did well. Uh, so apparently, November 2nd, 1978, she went out to go dancing and she hired her neighbor, which was a 14-year-old at the time, to watch over for a few hours, just a little while she was out, dancing. And then she'd pay him when she got back. This wasn't known initially at first, so bear that in mind. And the man who was the boy that babysat her daughter, who was 2 years old at the time, uh, Jamie, said that usually, she'd come home after and he'd be asleep on the sofa and the baby was still sleeping. So he didn't usually have to really do anything, but he was just there to listen and make sure that she was, okay and you know, had what she needed. And this time he had fallen asleep and it was much later. And a man came in that he was not familiar with and very gruffly told him to go ahead and leave. Didn't pay him or anything. And the kid didn't stick around to find out. He just he did as he was told. And that was all the kid ever knew until later on, and he sees that as an adult, there's another person that's looking for their mother, and he realizes that he was the babysitter, and he gets in contact with Jamie. Jamie has a podcast, by the way, and it's called Breaking the Ice. I highly recommend you listen to it if you're interested in this case. She had also a very, very controlling father, very wealthy, very strict religious background, and ideas about her wear and makeup well into her 20s and after having children and been married. Up to the point of her going missing was having her followed so he could ask her why she was at some place or another that he didn't approve of. And Jamie, not Jamie, but Barbara was the black sheep in the family. She really butted heads with her dad and didn't conform. And much to his pious sense of embarrassment. All right. And he ruled the roost. Very, very controlling man. And he admitted that he had her followed as well. Okay, so he had this church built, Westgate Chapel, and his brother was one of the first pastors there. He was known as, if I hadn't said it, I want to make sure I put this out there. I've recorded this so many times. That he was considered as the father of the church because it was the pastor's brother that built it and a very wealthy, affluential man. And he was a deacon as well. Ray, her father, was a deacon, I think. So he had a, a religious kind of a title for himself too, through the chapel and through his own involvement with it and its ministries. He and his wife were very involved in that. And it just wasn't part of Barbara's interest, and she couldn't fake it. And that didn't go over well. And like I said, he would have her followed. He didn't appreciate her going to places to dance and things like that well after she's over 18. And he didn't allow her to wear makeup, her sister, not in at school, didn't approve of that. And really, and their dress and everything was very tightly, rigidly under his control, except for Barbara. Barbara bucked it, and even while she was under his home, under his roof, so to speak. So she was really the black sheep. Now, what I want to see is I just want to ask first off, is Barbara is still alive? Is Barbara still earthly bound in a body of flesh? Is Barbara McClure, is she yet living in the flesh on earth? Oh, and I want to put up a picture of her. Let's see here. She's so, I think, a very pretty lady. Okay. There you can see her. Let's see. I'm trying to find the right one. Sorry. Don't want to be that far. I had a setting here where you could see her and me in the picture here. Okay, maybe it's should be that one. Where did her picture go? All right, let me see. There. Now I found the right setting. They've added a bunch of settings to StreamYard. In fact, I wonder if that isn't what has been causing my trouble. Anyhow, I wasn't too pleased, so I have changed my subscription with them to a lower costing one because it's too buggy. All right, anyways. So what ends up happening? Where was I? Barbara just disappears. She leaves Fandango's and nobody seems to know where she is. And her father wouldn't come forward like he should in, putting up money for reward and things like that. His brother had to shame him and say, look, it's going to make you look bad if you don't. And even then, when he did it, he put a expiry date on this reward money. And this is a very wealthy man. It's not like he's got to worry about it. He had a friend of the family that was very loyal to him, um, that went to Hawaii and thought that he saw her and calls him, and the her father Ray says, "You're crazy." He's not like, "Oh, really? Where is she?" Like if he was, like he should be concerned. It's like he knew something they didn't. He did not want her, he didn't encourage her to be looked for. And it's not normal. Okay. So let's just take a look here. And I'm going to ask if she's still on Earth. That's right. If she is still in an earthly body, if she's still alive. Rumor was that he could have had her sent off and sent away because I think he found her embarrassing and reflecting badly on him. And I think he resented it. But let's just see. I can see why people said that. So let's see. Is she yet alive? Is Barbara Jamie's mother? Is Jamie's mother still alive? Yet. Somewhere. Well, I am. I keep getting this card for her. There is the Three of Wands. This has to do with further away, further in time. This is the Three of Wands of waiting for something that is opportune to invest more energy into it. There's a timely essence to the first two cards, the Two and the Three of Wands. And usually this card, the Three of Wands, is associated with foresight, looking ahead. And that's kind of where we get a bit of that. And it's also about, you see a man that's looking out to see his ship come in. And you can't see it because the stuff here, but there's little ships on the water. And it's usually meant to be like a wealthy merchant, no doubt, that's looking at the future of his business and his success, development. And we're getting control. We're getting the card of, when I get this, it is somebody that's like obsessively controlling. And it's weird, we're not getting cards about death when I ask if she's still alive on Earth. I keep getting cards about her family, him. I feel like this is another nod to that. Business wise, financially, and control. And Ken has files that, Ken being the brother of Barbara, that Ray, their father, had apparently some kind about to do with her because he was paying people. Haven't found out yet who they were to follow her and that kind of thing. The Hanged Man and the Page of Swords. This is being watched. And this is delayed. This is being, in some sense, sacrifice. And it's also another point of view, looking at things and seeing things differently, for sure. Both cards are about awareness. And this one is more to do with observing. And this is more to do with a deeper, more philosophical awareness, shall we say. But it's where you can't move. It's usually frustrating. There's suspension or a delay in being able to see one's plans through, a hang up. Now, I don't know if it's saying that the the person that he paid to look for her was delayed or couldn't make it. I don't know if there's some hint of that there. Kind of feels like it. And why we keep getting this rather than just an answer of, yeah, I think, well, strength and the Six of Pentacles. This is money exchanged. And I think it's to bring somebody to control. And it is to do with self moderation with the Strength card, using moderation and not being too rough. And it looks like maybe he hired somebody and said, don't hurt her, but firmly uh, collect her for me, so to speak. I'm serious. It just it looks like somebody wants control, wants somebody to be stopped, or kind of like caught, like netted, like a butterfly in a net. And it's what I get in my head. And I feel like I'm being shown more of the environment going on there. I keep getting this Ace of Cups, and there's a great deal of emotion. And I think that she really fought back against um, she definitely was very adamant and opinionated and was not going to do what her father wanted. And I think if he hired someone um, or got someone to different maybe than he normally did would have had or something, I don't know, to follow her, pick her up, see what she's doing, they may not have followed what he wanted initially them to do. I don't know. It's just something that's coming to me after about 3 or 4 recorded attempts of trying to read on this case. I've gotten a lot after afterward that I've seen. There's a great deal of emotion here and a sense of stress and being overwhelmed. So, and having a very big reaction. I'm getting the Nine of Wands and the Page of Pentacles. There is trying to protect oneself, one's boundaries, one's independence. And this was a fairly newly had independence um, for her. And I think she was, like I said, just wanting to scoot out people that were trying to control her out. But she's having a hard time and she carries the wounds of having to stick up for herself. And there's some financial issue. Of course, I'm sure money was tight for her with um, the child. I don't know how much care they were getting, the husband was giving her and their money, but I'm sure it was a lot smaller. But hmm. All right, let me just see here. I want to see it again through maybe a different deck. That's what I'll do. All right. Yeah, use Trish James Oracle. All right. Let's see what we get. Let me just ask again, is Jamie yet, not Jamie, is Barbara yet alive? Barbara McClure, Barbara Anderson McClure, is she yet alive? Or the person that was her? Is she yet living, or is she deceased in earthly terms? Perspective, shift focused, fertility, bountiful. Hmm. We keep getting something about the perspective shift. You notice that? And wealth. And it's like, look at the wealth. Look who has the money. I keep getting that message from her. Look where the money, who has the money. Look who is the wealthy person that could make something happen. That's where the that's where it all needs to be looked at. And options, many possibilities. I kept getting this with my other deck too, the Eight of Cups. I kept getting that it looked like she was offered something maybe by her father. Um, Maybe if you step away, uh, you shouldn't be raising your daughter, living that life or something. We'll make sure she's fine and I'll pay you to go live somewhere else and stay out of her life. That's what it felt like, honestly. And balance, ups and downs. So options, and I got a card of this juggling of options. I think he tried to again, I think we're being shown her father is involved in this, and it's more than one person. That's another thing I kept getting. The Three of Pentacles, in many respects, kept coming up, and this is as well. Okay. Enjoy, have more fun. And there's the water. Apparently, there was a place in Hawaii, like I was saying. So I wonder if this is any nod to that. Maybe he offered that if she could go there and do what she wanted to do, but it wouldn't be in the same town as him, where he's a deacon and he's a holy roller and has affluence. I don't think he wanted her connected that way. Opportunity, new doors. I think he offered this as some kind of an opportunity to her. All right, I'm to go a few more. Caution, careful action, but I think she knew better because she's a wise woman. Walk away, not for you. And she declined. I keep getting that she declined some offer and he was angry about this. All right. Wow. Okay. Resilient a long time. And she had been manipulated behind your back. I think I keep seeing that there was a plan, like a Seven of Pentacles. And I did get the Father card, the Emperor, and even at one point the King of Pentacles, which would be her father, because he is a Taurus as well as Barbara. Health, look after you. Weakened immune system. Okay, that could have been an issue she may have had, um, or that it could be indicative that she had a weakness with her guard down. And when she left maybe Fandango's that night, she didn't anticipate crossing paths with someone that could be paid to do something. There's bored, desiring more. Okay. Communicate, talk it out. I feel like that's her. And maybe that's what she was thinking with regards to Scott and their blow up. And maybe she just thought, well, I'll talk to him later and I'm sure we can get over this. Um, Relax, do not stress, receive, be open. So there's like this is like a message that makes sense. It's like just relax, let it go, just be more open. I almost feel like we're listening to what she may have been telling herself uh, after leaving. To like, well, let's just we'll make you know we'll smooth things over. Um, Procrastinate, wasting time, new ideas, or cutting cords. Well, there's clarity there. There's a sudden interruption or clarity about wasting any more time. There's something here that's very clear. Maybe the breakup. All right. Just go with the flow. We keep getting that. Trying to go with the flow. Yes, correct path. All right. Withdrawn, going within. I think she wanted to have that walk, that time to herself, and she was thinking these things through. Endings, closing chapter. But I don't know if she realized that there was an ending coming. Teamwork, support needed. I keep getting again that there's more than one person involved in her disappearance. And I feel like there's a message as well that there will be teamwork that got her disappeared and teamwork that gets her found. Battles, disagreement, and healing. Time to heal. So it feels to me like maybe again, once again, she was thinking this argument, these problems right now, they just need time. I think she was thinking herself, I feel like we're inside her head for a moment. Goals, stepping stones. And she was just thinking maybe one day at a time, we'll just get this sorted out and socialize or social media. Well, there wasn't social media back in the day, but she was going to continue, it looks like to me, with her uh socializing, and maybe she thought she could talk to Scott later and this sort of thing. Getting a level up, wisdom, think about it, reassess, come back to it, do it now, don't wait, high energy boost, delays, hang in there, and warning, deception. I got the fool for her a lot. I don't think that she realized that there was a threat, a predator that was watching her. What I want to ask now is if she was abducted, if there was someone hired to abduct her and see what I get. I'm also getting lost, no direction, challenge, difficult situation. I think that someone probably picked her up and she didn't know where she was. and was having a hard time figuring out where she was being taken or where she was. She was trying to use her intuition. And there's taking some kind of a chance, self love and worth, and over it, had enough. I think she fought back. Spirit guide asked for help, break free, feeling trapped. Yeah, I think I keep getting that she fought back, but she might have been met with some kind of other force that ended her. Mood swing, extreme emotion, and expand, go bigger, collaborate, work together, patience, it'll take time. Yeah, inactivity, hibernate, quiet time, strength, fierce attitude. So I think she may have been injured initially, somehow, some way, by someone trying to pick her up. And let's just see what else. All right. I'm going to try this tarot deck again and just ask if she is past. Is Barbara Jamie's mother? Is Jamie's mother passed on the spirit? Is she in spirit now? Completely? Is she out of her body? Is Barbara in spirit? I believe so. The Star. And this is usually a card that it speaks of being spiritually guided and through dark times, no doubt, because the sky and it's dark and we have water here and in between realms. And I tend to think too, Barbara might go in between realms quite often, especially with this matter that's bothersome for her family here, especially for Jamie, her daughter. And there's the Page of Wands. Yes, energy form. I think she is, you could also see it as hope, but I think with, but yeah, there is some kind of, I keep getting that with her, some kind of restriction, some kind, and this is also my card for abduction with the Eight of Swords, especially for missing people. If I get this card, it usually means that either they've injured themselves in some way that they can't freely move around and get out from, or they're being held, and that they might literally be tied up and confined to a space, by an abductor. And I'm getting the family home. I'm getting the card of the family home and family with the Four of Wands. Something about family, the family home. To me, this is, I think, pointing to her own family again. King of Cups and the Four of Cups. A man who feels things very deeply, but who for himself, but doesn't have it to offer to other people. He's very distant um, and unavailable emotionally. I think it's her father, somebody in the family, maybe your brother. I don't know. It is a King of Cups, and though her father's a Taurus, it might be just another aspect of him. It could be another male in the family that's showing indifference. But it was just that her father had this noted indifference to offering a reward and putting an expiry date on it, and telling friends that a friend that thought he saw her that he was crazy and didn't even bother to check it out or anything. That's all not normal. Now, here's his card for Ray, the King of Pentacles. All right. Maybe the King of Cups could be the friend he denied or somebody he hires. I'm not sure that doesn't care. Maybe that's why he can do things like that. There's some kind of exchange. There's a juggling of things, money. I think the King of Cups and the Two of Pentacles with the King of Cups and the Four of Cups could be two men that are connected to her disappearance, that are through her family, um, possibly. And I see them handling these details, what needs to be done. Uh, and if that means hiring somebody else, I think they do that. And also handling her body and her possessions and things like that. We see a man here, her father, in my book. This is him connected to it and paying, I think, for this. Yeah, look, there's the family money card, the Ten of Pentacles. And they did have great wealth, and he knew a lot of people, very well connected. I mean, he could have her followed, he could have things quieted and shut up and all of that. And there's the card of surveillance with the Page of Swords. So it shows there that he was already watching her, and he's behind this. The child, that could also refer to the fact that she's his child. Barbara is Ray's child, and Ray's card had just come up. And this also deals with her own child and possibly her sibling, because this is the card of children, of childhood, of siblings. And if you're a parent, your little child, and a card of the past. And there's nostalgia. And there's the offer with the Knight of Cups. Maybe this being, like I said, where um, her daughter is brought up as a fact and saying you're not a fit mom, or in his book in some capacity, like not a good influence for your daughter kind of thing. You should do this, take my offer. um and I see again a stead guard, balance of boundaries, like you're overstepping the line here, dad, this kind of thing. This is sticking up for yourself, um getting tired of it, and even at this point, possibly injured. And there is walking away. So in the other reading, we had her walking away, not taking this offer, right? We're seeing it here being played out again. That's so weird with a completely different deck. And we have movement again and things shifting and fate kicking in with the Wheel of Fortune with this movement. And we have the Queen of Wands. This is a woman, or that's radiant, that's charming, shining her light, and also sticking up for herself. And I think when she refused to take the offer and stuck up for herself, fate kicked in. Um, there is some kind of exchange, offer of help or getting help, and there is a loss. Uh, and it's in mourning. This is the coat, the cloak of mourning, the black, um, with the 5 of Cups. So there's help given, and there is also grieving, uh, that is connected to this card, loss, and someone helping someone that has loss, or helping to cause loss. We have the 8 of Wands and the Tower. Something sudden happens, and it could be violence with the 8 of Wands and the Tower. Something kicks off. I think it's her trying to defend herself if someone tried to to take hold of her. It blows up, and there's a fight. Because I did get the 5 of Wands in another reading, so there's some it things kind of more or less explode, go haywire here, and there's some kind of, I think, violence, very quick. And the 9 of Cups and the 3 of Pentacles. There's a smug attitude, and there's by more than one person that's involved in this. I think they take her off guard, literally. And we have physical decline here, possible injury, 5 of Pentacles, and the 4 of Pentacles. So the 4 and the 5 of Pentacles show, okay, you have control, but you have someone that's not doing physically well, or maybe injured. Um, and we have corruption with the Devil. Now you're holding somebody against their will that might uh, be hurt or not feeling well, definitely not liking being controlled. More control with this card here in a way that is twisted strength. This is that I keep thinking of her father, that thinks that you have to be so rigid in your judgment, and forcing people to live by and conform to your way or the highway. It's tyranny. I think she tried to reason with him, but I think that you're dealing with somebody that's just insistent on their own way. And you have the Lovers and the a choice of to do with financial independence and money. I think he kept trying to pay her off, maybe to get just to have her go away. Um, or he could have paid people that some money that made them independently wealthy for what they did to earn that. And again, I get a sense of 2 people, 2 men here. And that could be the agreement that they would have had with him. I get a Queen of Swords and a Page of Pentacles. So there's some kind of details, paperwork, that needs to be gone through with a fine eye for clarity. Okay. It does look to me like she's in spirit. Okay. There is waiting, and there is separation. There's heartbreak. There's that Three of Swords. Um, and this can also be injury of some kind as well. We have confusion with the Eight of Cups and that options card. It's also that card of kind of um, clouding things up, so nobody keeping options open and kind of using that cloud of confusion. And again, the Two of Cups. I feel like there's two people. There's two people. We keep getting two people behind this. Um, that are keeping the confusion, covering this tragedy. We have the bullying and the forcing, the people that go over the top and want to humiliate. With the Five of Swords, taking things away from, and we have the Queen of Pentacles, and this is Barbara being cruel to her. So there's two people, and there's a betrayal there too, a feeling of betrayal, because these are the people that, with that Three of Swords, with the heart, that should be closest to you, and they're the ones that stab you in the heart. So we've gotten cards that say family, and to look at that, um, we get a card of transition and something that is blocked, not not done. Someone's trying to leave and it's blocked. And maybe that's how she felt, that he blocked her escape, not taking action, refusing to take action to look for her and so forth. Um, there's a plan, and there's also, once again, the caution of patience with regard to finding out. There's going to be more information with the judgment card coming out, about these kinds of details. I think there's pieces of the puzzle, that this case is like a puzzle, and I think that the daughter is collecting um, more and more pieces, and that through time, there's still more pieces that she has yet to get to fall into place. And I get that she's going to get more answers. And I got in another reading the world. So it's like the completion of these pieces coming together. King of Swords and Justice. Now that feels like fresh justice coming in with this case. And there is the heating up with the Knight of Wands. Yeah, this would be where there's action being taken by legal entities, perhaps, and another with the King of Wands, legal action. And the Fool, there's a high risk here, and the Ace of Wands. There's going to be some kind of new start with this case of hers that's going to kick back up. It's going to heat back up like a lot of, I predict, these older cases have. And there's the Death card. Okay. So her death and recognition card. I think there's going to be recognition about who is probable as being the cause of her disappearance and probable decease situation there, the death. Um, I feel like they're identified. I I feel like there's some kind of identification. I really hope that in this case that it could possibly be remains. Um, I think if nothing else, it would be the people that were involved, those especially 2 to 3 people. The hermit. This is about reflection. It also can be alone, but and looking deeper, private eye deeper. Yeah, and balance to bring about balance to complete the picture. And it takes time. And this card is also about time and patience. So this reading promises, I think, that more of her case will become clear in the months, years, maybe ahead. I don't think it's terribly, terribly far, but I think there's uh, probably um, several months at the very least of picking up pieces of puzzle pieces to this. But it does look to me like there's some kind of hope of identification uh, in who's responsible for her disappearance and probable uh, probability of being deceased, as well as perhaps, hopefully, finding where the remains are. Um, there's there's some hope there. So I'm just going to leave that there. And if you appreciate readings like this, please give me a thumbs up. There's a lot more I could go into, but this is already at 52 minutes. It's going to take me a long time to upload to YouTube and wait for this to also download off of StreamYard first. So I just want to look over my questions before I close this completely out. You know what I want to ask, and I'm going to go ahead and throw the cards, and this is all alleged for entertainment purposes only, but I'm going to ask if her brother may have been involved because we just keep getting that it's family. We need to look at the bigger picture of the family and family money and who holds those keys. So let me just ask, and I'll ask, um, I think with the investigative deck, and this is Trish James, investigative deck. Okay, or rather is Ken, her brother, this is for entertainment purposes only, this is alleged, this is not fact by any means, it's a tarot reading, but is there any involvement of her brother, of Barbara's brother Ken? Was he involved in her disappearance? What do we need to know about Ken and his sister's disappearance? I think he definitely knows more than he publicly shares. What do we need to know about Ken? Is he involved? Okay, let's see what this deck will share with us. Family connection. Oh my God. I'm getting a yes. Look, there's the completion again. 360, the circle, the three, and 3 people. All right. Did not go to plan. I had a feeling that, maybe she ended up resisting and it ended up causing some kind of injury that she passes from. That's what I tend to think happened. Dark web or recorded, there might be some kind of receipt. Of course, this was not probably recorded, but there might be some sort of diary entry or something like that. You never know, because this was from 78. And I mean, like, I don't think that this would have been recorded. Even this is certainly some is staged, set up, or framed. Yeah. I think that her disappearance is a setup. It's a frame for something of permanent nature. And maybe he was part of that behind closed doors, keeping the secrets, masked, not true face. He's got two faces. So I think he was involved. All right. According to these cards, he would be more than one involved and an accident. That sounds about right. So I think they cleaned up the accident and kept it silent. And that's probably why he didn't want people trying to find her and all of that. So I hope that this has been recorded. Give me a thumbs up if it has. Thank you.